hope to have chapters in every university before the end of the year this year. That way we can get more of the young voters involved and hopefully bring some more Democrats on board. I know George hates that because he's our Republican. So, we have a board of directors. Well, he did pretty good. He didn't make any Democratic jokes. I hear all of them when we're on the phone. He's a bad joke teller.
Don't get him here.
Don't get him started. These two probably could go hand in hand. So our bill is basically, George had said it's the most comprehensive in this area. Actually, the bill that we have is the most comprehensive in the United States. We did this bill with a team of lawyers through the Marijuana Policy Project out of Washington, D.C. It is what they call the dream bill. This is the bill that every single state wished they had. It covers everything from seed to sale. It has a home cultivation program in it. It allows enough cannabis flower for parents who are unable to afford to buy the oil to make that at home. It's a very easy process. We'll have actually a company out of Colorado will come in and do classes for parents once our bill is passed. We have a lot of diseases on our bill that are not covered in other states. Colorado just bumped out PTSD, which is one that we do have. We have Crohn's disease, we have MS, and we did something different. Most states will just do a disease-only bill where they name them out, and if you don't have that disease, you're just done. You're not even going to be qualified. Part A of our bill is the diseases, and Part B is the symptoms. So say a chronic pain patient, we don't need you to name your disease, we just need you to go to your physician and work with your provider and prove that cannabis would not be detrimental to your health and allow them to prescribe. I say prescribe because I worked in nursing for 18 years, but it's a recommendation because we're still not to the point where doctors can prescribe. Even in states that are legal, they're just recommending still. And I'm winging it today, so I don't even want to know what you guys really want to hear about. We do a lot of events. One of the biggest things that we're doing is in 2010, the campaign focused on one patient, and then Emmett Reistoffer ran that campaign pretty much by himself. He did a really good job with his volunteer work, but it was a very small volunteer base. We have organizations on this side of the state. We have a Central South Dakota coordinator, and we also have a West Rotor team. So we're hitting the state all the way across. We also, when we started this journey back in November of last year, we put out a call to people, just patients. We wanted to hear stories. We wanted to hear from people that this would help. We have patients in our 150 family patient pool from age 1 all the way up to age 85. It's been kind of amazing to hear the stories because everybody's so unique and everybody's story is different. But as we go through this campaign and get closer to the end of our petition drive, you're going to see the news is carrying our patient stories. There's one on the front page of the Argus today. On Sunday, the Rapid City Journal will release a 3-part series with 6 patients in South Dakota. It will run Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, front page, and then they're also going to set up a website. Because we want to put a face to it. We want you guys to see who we are and who you would be helping by voting yes on this issue. And by signing our petitions, because we've really got to get it on the ballot before you can say yes. So I guess, do you have a question?
Oh, no, I was just shaking the fly up.
It's okay, shoe fly. Well, I'm just gonna open it up for questions because I could go on and on. Our bill is actually 23 pages long, 95 sections, so it's a lot. And if you haven't had a chance to read it, we can answer some of those questions for you. So,
I would start with the question that came up first.
the poll.
Yes.
Okay, our polls are running about 80-20. Some 70-30, but they're all in favor. We're over 50%, over 60%, over 70% for the polls. There is going to be a formal poll run, and we'll have those numbers back in the next 6 weeks.
Who decides the wording on the ballot?
On the ballot, I wrote the wording for South Dakota with help from MPP and the LRC here in the state of South Dakota.
Does Marty Jackley get involved with that?
He does not.
He does offer an opinion, though, doesn't he?
He does offer an opinion, and he was very fair with us. We were very happy. He had an opportunity to come back and leave something really negative at the end of the summary where he bumps that last sentence in of his opinion, and he said nothing. He just left it at, federal law would still remain unchanged.
Yeah, kind of a two-part question. First, have you gotten economic impact?
Our fiscal impact statement is sitting on the director of the LRC's desk. He was gone this week, so he has not signed it. We will have that back, I think, Monday of next week.
Cool. Second part of that question is, you mentioned home cultivation, and this might come with the economic impact, but in terms of ag economy, will there be other producers, or is everyone like just grow your own?
Oh no, if you look at our bill, we put aside an entire industry is what we built within it. So the state will actually have an infrastructure 6 months after the bill passes. We do everything from, like I said, seed to sale. There's going to be dispensaries, there's going to be growers in the state of South Dakota. We are opening up an entire industry here.
How would it be different than Colorado?
In South Dakota, it'll be a more regulated system. We have done it so everybody who is going to grow or be a dispensary worker, owner, anything will have to be registered with the state. We're doing background checks. We're just making it a very safe program because as of right now, if you read the stories for patients, we're sending South Dakota's most fragile residents into the black market. We're putting them out there where they have no idea what they're getting. They're just kind of doing a poke and a prayer and buying it from a drug dealer. So we want to remove the black market and put everything into a retail market.
Can I interject on that too?
Yes, you can.
We also, there's no recreational attribute to our bill. So
Yes.
when she says dispensaries, those aren't recreational dispensaries where just anyone can go in there and acquire medicine that they need. They would have to go through the system of regulation.
Yes, they would have to be a card holder with the state of South Dakota. We require that every patient register with the state. It won't be just kind of it won't be like a gas station, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I was wondering, the last time it failed, the hospital systems threw a lot of money at really big full-page ads in all the newspapers across the state, and I'm assuming this time they'll do it again. And I'm just wondering what you guys plan to do ahead of time to basically call them out before they have an opportunity to call you out.
Actually, I don't think they're going to throw as much money in the game this time. What has happened is so many national organizations like the Epilepsy Foundation, the Crohn's Foundation, have all come out in support of medical cannabis. So basically, they're going to be fighting against these national organizations that feed them money. So it's kind of biting the hand that feeds them also.
Even the National Pediatric Association's recommended more research.
The AMA has come out in favor also. There's been a lot of changes in those last 5 years that I don't think we're going to get the opposition like they did last time. And first part of your question, we're going to educate. We're going to spend, as soon as we're done getting our signatures, we are starting a statewide educational program, and we are going to hit every town in South Dakota and talk to everyone.
Is there a South Dakota tax benefit to the sale of the product?
There is.
How much?
4% right now is what we're looking at. The state will probably raise it, but we did a 4% just like a prescription is. So our hope is that money will be filtered into our teacher pay, because sitting almost last in teacher pay in South Dakota really does kind of stink. I have kids too, I don't know, I didn't say that at the beginning, but I have a senior in high school, a sophomore, and a 6th grader. And we're in the Emory school system, so we're very lucky because our school system is wonderful, but I know a lot of the teachers in the state are getting peanuts for pay. So our hope is teacher pay.
I'm just curious what the margin was in 2010 for the vote.
2010 was not good. I think they went 36 or 38% in favor, and it failed the rest of the way. But they didn't do the education was the problem. They did some local stuff, and most of it was focused in the Sioux Falls metro area. They didn't branch out. We've really branched out. Across the state, we have 678 volunteers. I have an 85-year-old petition circulator that's out in the Alexandria area circulating and educating.
But
He's
that
kinda
doesn't mean we
growing.
don't need more volunteers.
No, we would love more volunteers.
We
And
have a new
offer training
circulator.
and Educational classes too, so.
Especially
anybody's-
if anyone could help out with our booth at the fair.
Yep, and we are in the expo building at the fair for 9 days.
Can you tell them how to find us on Facebook so they could?
We'll finish the questions and I'll give them all that.
Pharmaceutical companies, where are they on this now?
Well, GW Pharmaceuticals is making 2 products right now that are in trials. They have 2 seizure medications. Some are available on the East Coast. We're hoping that they'll come do trials in South Dakota. I think as the pharmaceutical business sees how cannabis is being used, they're going to come up with more products and really try to put their foot in the door. Even though they fought cannabis for years, because, you know, they create customers and cannabis can create cures.
I've heard police officers at major, for example, child abuse meetings, the arena's been packed with people speak out against this as a possibility. What are you doing directly to try to offset the notion that this is something for individuals who are interested in the recreational value of marijuana? It seems to me, is there a direct ploy in asserting that message, or are you trying to do it indirectly?
Are you saying, are we trying to do a recreational program?
No.
No.
What are you doing to offset the impression that it's a recreational program? Are you doing that indirectly, or are you going to take a direct hit at that?
We have chosen to take a direct hit at it. There is another group in South Dakota working on a decriminalization. We don't work with them because our goal is not to have recreational cannabis, it is to have medical. South Dakota needs a solid medical program before anything else.
It seems to me that's a real critical issue, when that perception is out there, real or not, that this is just a way for, you know, leftovers from the 60s to get high.
Also, what we do with that is by showing the patients and showing the human beings involved and the personal tolls that it takes on their lives, it brings out more compassionate people. Because I'm 29 years old, I'm the youth director of an LGBT organization. I'm a single mother. I raised my 5-year-old son, who's thankfully perfectly healthy, but I cannot take care of him because of my medical problems. And if I had access, I could be a better mother. I wouldn't have to worry about drug-induced fog or addiction or kidney failure, and it's those personal stories that allow us to fight the recreational side. I was raised Jehovah's Witness, so I was with them on the page of, that's just you stoners looking for a ticket. But after I had reconstructive surgery, after I had my son, I had marijuana through a vaporizer. I had anal reconstructive surgery, because with my disease, I had everything ripped open. Not anybody needs to know that, but that's the horrible truth. And of course they give me Oxycontin, which constipates, puts me in a fog while I have to breastfeed. And how the heck am I supposed to sit on everything that was just built? So within a half an hour of using that vaporizer, I was sitting on my butt and I was actually hungry. And I was so amazed that I just had to stop and do all of my research, because this was nothing I ever heard before. I never heard anything about real medical merit. Everything I learned was out of DARE. So after that education, I felt like I was blind my whole life, and now I have it. And being able to use medical marijuana would make me a better human being, because I can be a better mother and I can contribute more to my community.
So, and more to what she's saying is, I mean, that was part of the purpose of my testimony as to who I am and how I got here.
Yeah.
It's because, you know, being as ignorant as I was and having all those same things in mind, and then finally having to educate myself is what changed my mind. And that's going to be part of our campaign. As soon as we are finished in the signature portion of this, we are switching all of our efforts and whatever funding we can get in from affiliated parties and friends to go straight into education. And that'll be the rest of our campaign, all the way up through the vote, will be nothing but solid education.
Yeah, so I think you're up against, I mean, I'm in favor.
No, I understand.
But I think you're up against a very strong perception that 38% 5 years ago tells you something about.
And a lot of that has been changed, thankfully. It's been weakened by organizations such as CNN and 2020, who both put out very good programs about medical use for, you know, like in my son's case. What he needs is a non-psychoactive form of cannabis. So there's no drug itself in it. Under current state law, if I have just a small amount of it, I commit a misdemeanor in my possession by having it. But as soon as I put a drop of that on my son's tongue, I commit a felony in this state called distribution without consideration. So if I commit a felony by medicating my son illegally, I go to jail, all of a sudden my son doesn't get the right kind of medicine he needs because social services comes in and decides that I'm an unfit parent and takes my son away. Now I've got somebody who knows nothing about my son's medical needs and doesn't understand that if he misses one dose of Onfi, the seizures go up and he could die. It could be the end of my son. You know, and so, and this is the education program. This is what Melissa and I are tirelessly, and everyone in the organization is tirelessly going to be working at to bring for exactly your reason. You're exactly right on, and we recognize that full front, that has to be the focus of this petition drive. So yeah, thank you.
So does this bill have anything in it about strain restriction, like low to no THCI?
No, we did not do that. We looked at taking a baby step and doing a CBD only bill, but realized that we would leave so many patients out and we would hurt so many more than we would help. We just went with a whole plant bill. And I have one question over here. She's had her hand up for a while.
My husband had Parkinson's disease, and I know that Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's disease, and he controls his with Rick Simpson, because that's been very, very plain. When my husband was alive, one of the things they did to control the tremors was do the deep brain stimulator thing. That wasn't fun. And he had to have the surgery twice because one of the wires broke. And he said if there was any other way to control the tremors. And I think this would be a godsend for people with Parkinson's disease. I really do.
Absolutely.
First of all, the surgery is expensive, which of course Medicare paid, but that's beside the point. But to have somebody probing in your brain and trying to find, and you have to stay awake for this. And they numb stuff, and then they try to find the spot where the shakes are to get it to stop. I mean, and he went through that twice. And I just think this is a better shot for the people with Parkinson's. You didn't mention that, but they're out there.
They are.
You know?
And cannabis all across the board is a safer option than any pharmaceutical. We have looked at the history of it, and in 3,000 years of recorded history, we've never had a death from cannabis. We've never had a consumption death. We've never had anything. Cannabis is actually safer than eating peanuts because people die from peanuts.
I also wanted to point out that even if it's smoked with lung cancer, that it will still reduce the tumors without causing lung damage.
Yeah.
So this, how does it get safer than that?
I should tell you a little bit about myself. Up until 3 years ago, I worked in nursing. I was catastrophically injured 3 years ago, this month actually, 3 years ago on the 21st. I had a patient I was helping out of a chair, and she decided to basically turn herself around and throw herself back in the chair, catching my thumb, and in doing so, she destroyed my shoulder. I was hurt in July of 2012, and in March of 2013, I had to have my entire left shoulder rebuilt. 6 weeks after surgery, I contracted a disease called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. So for me, I don't even need to smoke. What I need is a lotion. And you know, like Rena said, there's nothing safer. You can use cannabis, you can smoke it, you could vaporize it, you can use an edible, you can have an oil. They make lotions. The lotion, I went to Colorado, it was the first time in 8 months I didn't have any pain in my arm. RSD is rated as the #1 most painful condition ever recorded